You know, when I originally started this script, I wanted to start out with a joke, but since YouTube always has a drop off in the first 30 seconds, I'd rather cram in the best advice I have for young men right at the beginning. And Monsieur Math, should you happen to watch this video yourself or your fans, I do have a very special surprise just for you at the end of this intro, so do stick around for that. Number 1, don't worry about all women. This is an issue with a lot of red pill content. Red pill content is designed to make men feel good because they present themselves as the bearers of truth, the only ones telling women how it really is. But you don't need all women. You need a woman. So don't worry about the trends affecting all women so much as you need to worry about finding the woman who has what you need. Trends are interesting to look at, but when you're dating, shove all of that out of your mind. Number 2, as a man, be goal-oriented. Figure out what you want, write it down, and take one step, preferably 2 or 3, but I'll settle for 1 every single day. You want a wife? Be in a place where you could potentially meet someone every single day. And number 3, average women and beautiful women have different rules. This is the hardest one for a lot of men to grasp, but it is crucial if you want to understand why Chad, or in Monsieur Math's case, Steven, is getting girls, beautiful girls. You need to understand that they're just playing on 2 different rule sets. And now onto that surprise. My fans might remember that a few days ago, I made a video about a girl getting tossed around by ice.
Do you think we'll see like a female OnlyFans politician in our lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
This girl, this young girl, she's like really cute too. I think she's like 26. Her name is like Abu Ghazala or something, Kat Abu Ghazala. And she's just got all these pictures of herself sitting on a bar with her legs open, her tongue out and stuff. And then she ran for some kind of office.
That was Kat. Total coincidence. 152 million views on TikTok. Fox 32 Chicago got. Dwarfs Kat's entire channel, entire internet history. Girl spends all this time on TikTok building a following only to get completely dwarfed by a video of a man in full military kit chucking her on her ass on one of the most savage comment sections I have ever seen beneath it. If that's not a sign that things are different now, I don't know what is. I guess I'll admit that there are worse things you could be watching. Considering the amount of crap as a man you're getting fed on YouTube on a daily basis, endless garbage think pieces about modern women and all their issues. But the mentality that red pill content keeps you in is going to keep you single.
When we think of what you bring to the table, we usually think of things like your money that you've earned or your body or cooking and cleaning, and those are all just physical things that you have or do. But also, you can bring your situation, which might be your social status or roles that you play in society. Maybe you're a leader somewhere.
As much as I do enjoy the jawbreaker of human psychology here, you're a man. You don't need to be playing 4D chess here. And you need to start taking advantage of the ways that being a man is actually pretty great. Red pill content is designed to make men feel good about themselves. In the same way that women spreading videos about TikTok about how all men are dogs is content by women to make other women feel good. The red pill space and the hyper-feminist space are just 2 halves of the same neoliberal coin. Always have been. Don't get married. It's not worth it. The other gender is garbage, and you should just focus on making money and working a crappy corporate job that doesn't care about you. Put away as much money as possible. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not bad, though, to consume content that makes you feel good. And as I said, Homath is among the many toxic all women are hoes videos you could be watching online. And God, there are a lot of them on YouTube. Homath stuff is some of the better, and he does try to be factual about it. It's not even that I think a lot of what he says is wrong. It's that you don't need to be worried about all women. You don't need to go in trying to tell women how they should feel. You need to find a woman who feels the same way that you do and fulfills your needs and whom can have her needs fulfilled by you. Focus on the one woman you want to find, not the trends affecting all women. And it's especially ironic because the truth is, yes, if you walk up to a woman in 2025 and try to tell her factually all about how, wait, hang on. Average red pillar in 2025. All the men you want to be with are in the friend zone, when clearly you need to stop finding women in the Chad zone or some crap like that. Women are better than you at emotional intelligence. They will be. As a man, you need to just go into a relationship, go into any, like relationship as in friendship, acquaintanceship, anything. You need to understand women will just be better at telling emotions than you are. And so if you have this kind of stuff in the back of your mind, they'll sniff it on you. If they feel like you're in the conversation trying to prove them wrong, no matter how sneaky you're being or how much you think you're hiding it, they'll sense it on you. So you don't want to have this stuff in your mind. You just don't. You don't want to be in the mentality of this is what's wrong with all women. You want to be in the moment with her, focus on her and her needs. Not exactly rocket surgery. And what's especially ironic about it is actually there are a lot of spaces online where women do discuss the exact issues in the red pill. It's just that they're not in dating spaces. Once you get into dating spaces, all women are going to be defensive and all women are going to be in defend other women mode. But open up the average Rory Gilmore analysis video here on YouTube and you'll hear white millennial women discussing all the issues with white millennial women. The entitlement, the unrealistic expectations of wealth, not fully understanding what the corporate life or entrepreneurship really means. Contributor to the Free Press, Emily Jahinsky, has been on quite the journey the past couple of months, and I've really enjoyed a lot of her analysis about modern liberalism and how it has failed women. She speaks from the perspective of a millennial woman who was fed all of this garbage, and I actually do recommend this video. I've watched it myself, where she breaks down Lena Dunham's own discontent with liberalism that came toward the end of Girls.
That's Lena Dunham, whose content over and over again projects, unintentionally, this deep discontent with post-sexual revolution, feminism, and liberalism. She never draws the obvious conclusion from identifying the problem. For example, like, why is the meaningless sex immiserating you? Why is perpetual singledom and career culture immiserating you? Why is the blending of sex and gender immiserating you?
All this to say that there are spaces in which women do actually talk about this stuff. But if you bring it up on a date, that ain't the time, bro.
These are bird hands. They look like a beak, and you make little pecking motions with them, and sometimes you do this. You open and close for emphasis. And bird hands are what snotty, entitled women do when they're wrong and they plan to be loud about it. Look, I don't consider myself much of a catch, at least not anymore. I think I expired a long time ago. But even I would not put up with this.
You see, in theory, it's good for you and me to know how women work and hand gestures and things like that. It's good to consume content that gives you knowledge on women that you might not otherwise. That's why I don't write off Homath entirely. But watching content that's all about women and the things that women do wrong and the things that women need to learn and what women need to understand before they can date you. And again, I know that once you fall down the rabbit hole, YouTube will just flood you with this stuff, as will TikTok, Instagram, all the social media sites. So it is not your fault that all this crap ends up in your For You page. They will just spoon feed it to you the moment you click on one video, and that is all you got recommended from then on. I have a lot of sympathy for men for this, for the crap that we get recommended, and there's so much of it, and there's just no other good content. It really sucks. It really sucks. But the best way that you can combat it is to go back to point 2. Be goal-oriented. Being a man is pretty great, or at least it can be if you understand the great things about being a man and you celebrate that. It's funny that this has actually been on my mind recently. Those of you who know the new Memphis deep lore might remember that a couple years ago I made a series of videos called American Women Explained and American Men Explained. And a friend of mine got really mad at me that the list of things wrong with American women was like way longer than the list about men. But the truth is, and this may come across as a little bit insulting to men, we're simple creatures. We really are. I believe the exact advice that I gave in that video were work hard and go to church. And I stand by it to this day. As a man, those are the things you need to be focused on in like a kind of figurative sense. I'm not saying you literally have to like be in church every Sunday, but you do need to work on believing in something more than yourself. If you've seen the movie Secondhand Lions, you'll remember this really iconic line that some of the most important things for men to believe aren't actually true. That good always conquers evil, that love is eternal. There are other things. He never finishes the speech, but it applies here too. You need to believe in hard work, you need to be determined, you need to keep your nose to the grindstone, and you need to understand what you're good at and just go for it. Men are simple creatures. Get right with God and move forward. Take one step every single day. That's what you need to work toward. Not watching videos that are designed to explain exactly why I can't get a girl. No, that's not going to help you. That will keep you single. That will give you excuses that you don't need. I don't need. I want to be clear about this. I've had my own issues. Again, I've fallen down those YouTube rabbit holes. It sucks. It's so difficult to dig yourself out of that. Those pits of despair and those content rabbit holes, but you put one step foot. Damn it, that would have been such a good line. You put one foot in front of the other every single day, and eventually you come out the other side. God, and I haven't even gotten to criticizing the fact that he openly associates with Pearl. You know Pearl, right?
Women are whores. We got to adapt because religion used to stop them from doing this. A lot of our problems in relationships are solved when we just shut the fuck up. Women dating in their 50s. I think it's sad to see women in their 50s try and date. I mean, if a guy's in good shape, makes good money, and hooks up with a couple, he's having a good time in his 50s.
Okay, you're all caught up on Pearl. And those are the mild things. Trust me. Pearl, like the rest of the Red Pillars, posits herself as the bearer of truth, the only person who's speaking honestly. I'm a mid, but I'm the only one who's actually honest about it. Stuff like that. I know that modern women use the word pick me to any woman who doesn't just toe the standard NPC lines. But Pearl is a pick me. Like Pearl Davis is actually a pick me. Every word that comes out of Pearl Davis's mouth is to impress men. Every goddamn word that comes out of her mouth is to get men's attention. And if a man is consuming that, he wants women's attention. He wants women to say certain things. And that's why Homath associating with and being a fan of hers is a bit of a red flag to me. It's a sign that you are spending too much time around content that's designed to make you feel good instead of actually giving you knowledge to get out into the world. You know, the complexity of the graph does not scale directly with how useful the knowledge is. And let's wrap up by getting to that third point, the fact that there are really two categories of women that you need to be aware of. Beautiful women and average women. They're not ugly women. Average women. Could be a beautiful woman with body dysphoria. Maybe she's absolutely gorgeous, but she comes from sunny California and happens to be like 140 pounds. Oh no. In the Midwest, you can't even be a 10 out of 10 if you're less than 140. This is actually why I like following Sadia Khan. Yes, I know that she's been problematic in the last couple of months. I am fully aware, but she's also like the only content creator who actually gets this concept right.
And rather than gender, I think unattractive people are naive, attractive people are not naive. And the reason being is attractive people get to see what human behavior is like when they're sexually attracted to you. So an attractive man will see that a woman will leave her husband and come to you in the middle of the night and say, okay, I'm going to be late, and she'll lie in your bed. An attractive woman will see that a man will post pictures of his wife as a WhatsApp picture and still be messaging her all day, every day, and begging her to spend time with him. The more attractive you are, the less naive you are, because you see what people act like when they want you. Unattractive people think, oh, I know she went to his house at 12 a.m., but she would never do that because she doesn't do that with you.
People who give too much and give hoping that you'll attach to them end up with people who take a lot, takers. And with takers, they actually lose love and attachment to the person that they're taking from. The more you give a girl, let's say for example you're a guy with a lot of money and you meet a girl that hasn't got any money but she takes a lot from you, those girls will actually become more disrespectful, more rude to you, because there's a part of us that feels a bit guilty when somebody gives too effortlessly to us. So the only way to reduce the guilt is to make fun of the person that's giving to us, or to diminish what they're giving to you. So you might say, oh, but you're so stupid, or is that it? Like, you become entitled. Similarly, if you're a woman that's giving everything you have to a man, he might start taking advantage of that. So when I say giving, you have to give with zero expectation of attachment.
The reality of a a very, very hot woman is like a sphere that follows around her, just distorting all of her experiences with women, with men, at restaurants, getting into nightclubs, with careers, everything.
Yeah, the super hot, sexy woman gets it probably the worst because they activate a man's short-term mating strategies. They have long-term mating strategies with who they want a family with and short-term who they just want to mate with. And they activate that in men. So a really sexy girl will activate a man's short-term mating strategies. And she'll also activate threats in women. Now, women's usual threats when they're threatened with a woman is to go suggest that she's promiscuous. So they might say to the man, oh yeah, but she's really promiscuous, not realizing that actually makes her more attractive to them. Because they're like, well, I'm really looking for a short-term promiscuous.
Are you trying to sell her to me?
Yeah, so she ends up with men who just want short-term mating strategies, and as a result she starts to see men as seeing disposable.
On point. But I also need to add to that there are women on the other side of that as well. You need to understand how average women see the world without that reality distortion effect that Chris was talking about. If a woman doesn't have that, if a woman knows that she's not a woman who is so beautiful that literally it alters everything about how she sees the world, she is very, very aware that she is not one of those women. And oftentimes it's a real gut punch to women to know that there are these other women who are getting all these great things. Their life can be easier in some ways and harder in others. It can be genuinely horrible for women to do that. And so when you come in to a woman's life and you're trying to tell her about how all women take and all women do this and all women do that and all women are promiscuous.
Women are whores. We got to adapt.
A lot of what you're doing is you're just reminding an average woman of all those things that, taking men's money without asking, acting like a bitch and still getting into the nightclub for free, getting drinks bought for her. Women do all those things. No, she doesn't. Average girls don't. And she knows that. And if you walk into a relationship with an average woman who knows that she's not one of the women who gets to do those things, all you will do is just make her feel even worse about herself. Because now she gets to have all the negatives of all the bad female stereotypes ascribed to her when she never did any of that stuff. Lose-lose. It's the worst thing you could do to an average woman. It genuinely is horrible to them. And that's why I despise red pill content so much. Because when you're actually looking for a woman to just settle down with, to just have that family with, to just have a regular ass life with, and you come in with this stuff about how women take, not all women take. And you're just reminding her of the fact that she never got the chance to take, Just like if she were to come to you and say men do all of these things, but you never got to do those things. Chad did those things. It's a really sad time. And like I said, I know that the YouTube rabbit hole can really destroy you. You see, all the men you need to be with are in the friend zone. Here's everything that you've done wrong in your life. You're just gonna end up single. You're gonna end up single and miserable and... Hey, you know what? You might anyway. It's 2025. It's rough out there, man. You might stop watching Home Math and still end up miserable. But at least at the end of it, if you're 50 and you're childless and you don't have a wife, at least you'll be able to say that every single day you put one step in front of the other and you'll be able to look back and say, these are all the steps that I took and God damn it, I tried. As opposed to what Home Math would give you, which is a list of excuses as to why you didn't get what you wanted. That's not going to make you feel better at the end of this tunnel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next one.